NelsonJoypad.com bring you another original. It's freaking great.
Welcome back, everybody. It's been a couple weeks since we've been absent, but thanks for joining us here on the Mouse and Joycast, where we talk about video games and the business that runs them. I'm your host, Jordan Lopez. With me today are Kurt Reisinger.
Hey, guys.
And Trevor Anderson.
How's it going, everyone?
Hey, guys. Welcome back. It's been too long.
It has.
But that's all in the past. We're here for today, and I'm just glad we are getting started on the podcast again. Yeah, first things first, guys. Let's start with you, Kurt, because you're the new guy, and I'd like to get to know you more. And let's start off with what you've been playing as of lately.
Lately I've been super busy, so I just want to come home and just dive into something that's not so demanding, such as Dark Souls or Destiny, since they've had since that was just released and Destiny had the big update. I was like, oh man, I really want to play these, but I just don't have the mental stamina. So I've been actually playing a lot of first-person narratives, or also story-based games like Quantic Dream games. I beat Heavy Rain with my girlfriend just the other night, and then I bought Beyond Two Souls because it was on a flash sale on PlayStation Network this weekend. I was like, yeah, I'll get that, and I played that for 12 hours straight. And it was 1:30 in the morning. I was like, oh my god, I'm so close to beating it, but I need to go to bed. And it was 10 minutes of contemplation before I just told myself I need to go to bed. But yeah, I've been playing Beyond Two Souls. I played a little bit of Dark Souls. You have to be in the right kind of mindset to play that game. You have to be ready to get mad, and I'm just not there yet. But other than that, I've been just kind of messing around with The Division as well.
It sounds like your tastes are somewhat similar to mine with The Division, and definitely the Quantic Dream stuff.
Yeah, David Cage gets a lot of heat, and I love every single one of his games.
Yeah?
Yeah, Heavy Rain was kind of I don't know, the voice acting was really below average, and I just wanted to smack Ethan every time he talked. But
yeah, I'll give you that.
But I think that they definitely responded from that with Beyond Two Souls by casting Ellen Page and Willem Dafoe.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that game it turned out great. I loved every bit of it. In fact, I'm thinking about replaying it on the easier difficulty because I really sucked at the quick time events.
Yeah.
Because they don't give you an action. It's just you have to hit the stick judging on where she's moving. And I'd literally probably 9 times out of 10 got it wrong.
Yeah, that's bringing back memories. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. What about you, Trevor? What you been playing these days?
Well, let's see. My most recent review was Gotia, which is the first game that was released by the Square Enix Collective, which is kind of a Kickstarter from their point of view, where they help developers that have good ideas. And it was it's this point-and-click adventure game about demonic forces, and you play this ghost that wakes up on your family's English moor, and you're trying to figure out what happened to your family, and it seems like a lot of time has passed. So you end up going through the house. It's got a bit of a Gone Home vibe, and it was extremely good. It was one of those games that when you, I started playing it, I just kept thinking to myself, this is almost to a T what they wanted to go for, So I ended up giving it a 9 out of 10. It's a great review. You should check it out. I got it in video and text format, but it's a really engaging point-and-click adventure. So if you're into those types of games, definitely one to check out. And the artwork is fantastic. Every panel could be your desktop screensaver. It's just absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, and then I'm also checking out the new DLC on Black Ops 3, and been playing Rocket League basketball mode.
Yeah.
I know. every week we just keep talking about Rocket League, but they keep doing it every time we come in here. Like, I can't help it. I was playing basketball this afternoon for like an hour.
That's something that's noteworthy, though. It's a big expansion or a new update.
Oh yeah. I mean,
it's brand new mode.
What are they going to do now? Like, honestly, is it just going to get to the point where they start, like, 4 years from now, we're going to be like, they're doing shuffleboard. Rocket League shuffleboard.
Curling.
What's the one where you knock around balls with a mallet?
Croquet.
Okay. Rocket croquet.
Bocce ball croquet. Yeah, let's do it.
No, but I mean, I'd still play it, man. If they made it fun. And they got a new one of those league maps, or what do they call them? The test maps.
The Rocket Labs.
Yeah.
I saw that. I think it's based off of like a map from the original game, the Super Rocket
flying car. Yeah, they did a good job of changing that name. That name wasn't going to fly.
No, it doesn't even sound like a real name until you see it on the PSN marketplace, and it's like, oh shit, it's real. As for myself, Rocket League, of course, without mention, should be assumed by now. But the basketball mode, it's great, and it's great that they're only, I think, doing doubles for that seems like the right choice. Anything more would, I mean, it's a little too claustrophobic to have 3-on-3, and 1-on-1 you just want to have those nice like setups or alley-oops that make it a little more fun.
Yeah, it's mostly an aerial game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if hockey is much more about don't jump because you got to handle that puck a lot more, this one is very much about getting up off the ground.
No, yeah, and showing just how much ground they're covering in terms of the vanilla game.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, it's both of those combined, and then a Snow Day is just very much a ground game for the most part.
Yeah.
Or a wall game too.
Yeah,
for sure.
Oh yeah.
Besides Rocket League, I just reviewed Democracy 3 Africa, which is like a expansion kind of DLC. It's more like DLC from what I've been hearing, because it's not like a full-blown expansion of Democracy 3, which is like a political simulation game.
Yeah.
Which sounds like a terrible idea, but the developers actually have done a great job of taking like just so many clusters of information that revolve around running a state, and making it really accessible and never seem really overwhelming, while at the same time, presenting everything that needs to be presented to you. And so, initially, I remember when I started the game, I'm like, oh no, it's gonna be a little confusing. It's gonna take a while to get adjusted to playing it. But it actually, I think because of the tutorial and because, like, the whole, how a simulation is kind of predicated on its menu system, and it's able to, like, the menu system they have in this game is just really layered, but it's really well organized and thorough, to the point where, even though I understand it's like a lot of information you have to keep in mind, and there's a lot you have to keep in mind, especially with like political policies, and when you put those in place, they affect other policies, which affect certain class of people, like feminists or
the special interest groups.
Yeah. And so there's like a big trickle-down effect throughout the whole thing, and it becomes harder to keep that in mind when you get more policies going, but at the same time, it's not unfairly difficult. It's always just kind of like the nature of the beast more than, a design flaw.
Yeah.
That's kind of making things hard. And, suffice it to say, I got assassinated by feminists.
By feminists? Wow.
Yeah, a feminist regime, which is kind of, I mentioned that in the review, which is kind of shocking, because I was putting, I was implementing some policies that were actually very feminist positive, I would say. Like, there was a big epidemic of female genitalia mutilation that was going on in the state. I think I chose Kenya, and that was like a big problem when I entered office, and I was able to get it stopped. But for some reason, the feminists didn't want me running things anymore.
Well, it's never enough, is it, fellas? I mean, come on.
No. That's what I was thinking too. I'm like, I kind of got more of a commentary out of the game from that happening rather than it being like kind of, well, there might be some issues there where it's like a little too hard to please everybody in the game, which I know is realistic, but in a game you kind of want to.
You want that like, I did this, so you should love me now. Why don't you love me?
Yeah, and that's like you want to see your end level score.
Yeah.
And you want to hear the nice like your numbers going up. For at least in terms of the simulator, that would be in the form of not being killed.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of a game I've reviewed in the past called Rogue Nation, but it kind of took itself a little bit more tongue in cheek in the sense that like there's even a nation of chickens. Like a giant chickens that you talk to and they just balk at you.
Uh-huh.
Like, is it, if everyone's calling it an expansion, is it worth picking up alone, or should I pick up?
From what I heard from people who have played the original, which is like $20, $30, they were saying like, well, 10 probably would have been more fair, just with, I guess, the little amount of changes between the vanilla game and this game. So I would probably say that depends on whether you want to spend more to get like the original game, or if you want to like have a taste of what the game's all like, the Democracy 3 games are all about, and don't want to spend more than $15, then you could still get a lot of play out of this game.
Yeah.
Even though it's not maybe particularly different from the original game, but I mean, if you haven't played the original game, then you might as well.
Yeah.
Do it, especially if you want to save a little bit of money and see what these games are all about. To get things going, there's some news going on this week. First is a little more nearer and dearer to the website, because you, Trevor, actually wrote an article on this. It's about the Stardock CDO. Mm-hmm. Is it Brad Wardell?
Yeah. Do you want me to explain it, or? Yeah,
you probably know the most out of all of us about this, so why don't you set us up?
Well, basically, Brad Wardell is CEO of Stardock. If you don't know who they are, they kind of make a lot of RTS, resource, and exploration type games. He ended up tweeting out the other night, revealing an email he sent off to GameSpot that was entitled, Concerned About Your Choice of Reviewer. And this was on April 6th. And he said in there, and I'm not quoted on this, but in my 20 years, I've never attempted to mess around with anyone's review or tell a organization how to handle my game. But then he says that the reviewer that they chose, Daniel Starkey, who is a freelancer, writes for, and again, I may be getting his credentials wrong on this, but I believe Polygon, Gamasutra, and GameSpot, has a personal vendetta against him. And he said that it had to do with the fact that he has said in the past that he is pro-Gamergate, that he feels that video game journalism needs a change, and he feels that journalists kind of blackballed him because of that. And before that interview, the same reviewer gave his games in the past an 8, and when he ended up reviewing the expansion, he suddenly jumped it down to a 4. Obviously, that doesn't state that, there's any actual bias there, but this CEO feels it did. especially since he sent off this email saying, hey, could you please put someone else on my game? I feel like this guy doesn't like me, and I feel like, his review might reflect that. And he reviewed this more recent game from him, which is this is their big game. This is brand new engine, a brand new, new hardware to it, new software that they're trying to implement. So this is a big move for them. And again, he gave the game a 4 out of 10. And even comments in the GameSpot review, a lot of people were saying that they didn't quite understand the reviewer's point of view. The funny thing is that GameSpot hasn't commented on this. I reached out to them for comment. They didn't comment to me. Brad Wardle revealed that GameSpot never got back to him when it came to his original email. But yeah, it kind of made me question the idea of what is reasonable for a developer to think a reviewer should, like, what kind of say should a developer have in terms of how a review outlet handles their reviews.
That's really interesting because, like, first of all, how did they get the information that specific freelancer was reviewing their game?
I'm not 100% sure, but I would imagine GameSpot probably sends out information ahead of time saying we've recruited this person to review your game, and he is a freelancer. He's not on the GameSpot staff. One thing he does say is going to happen is that his next game as well is also being reviewed by this guy. So it would seem to me that he either has insider info or GameSpot is providing that info. I kind of see it from both sides. I see it from, the journalist standpoint of, I don't answer to you, like I answer to my readers. Right. Like at the end of the day, I'll put who I'm going to get on the game to review it. But on the other foot, I see it from his point of view, and I can see why, I can't see why it wouldn't be such a big deal for if someone contacted me and they said, you put Kurt on my new game and I feel like Kurt might have a conflict of interest with the game. Whatever the asinine, weird reason it might be, I might just do it because of the fact that I don't want him saying that there could be a conflict of interest. Right. I mean, the guy obviously doesn't want Kurt reviewing his game, so I'm going to go, hey, Kurt, this is nothing personal, but I feel like I'm going to move you over to another project and let someone else handle this one just because I don't want any kind of backlash. You're still going to get an honest review. You're just going to get it from a different point of view. That could be better or worse for him in the long run. But if he's specifically saying just that one guy, I don't want that one guy reviewing my game, it's kind of weird that GameSpot didn't at least even contact him back and go, hey, we're going to stand by our reviewer, or, we'll get someone else on it. It just seems it just doesn't seem like the right way to handle the situation.
They may not know exactly how to respond just yet, just because. Yeah. I mean, he is a freelancer, so. Yeah. I mean, it's not like he's their employee. And also, you also have to look at it if the game developer is that worried, then why wouldn't they just maybe make an open statement about, for instance, sharing the review of a different, news outlet rather than going to GameSpot? Because GameSpot is big, but there's going to be more than just one person reviewing your game. Yeah, and the funny thing is, a lot of people have given it very positive reviews. And me personally, when I hear 4 out of 10, I hear a game that not only misses the mark, but misses general, basic game design. Right. It is worse than average. And it's a weird situation where I don't really have a set opinion. I would say that each side has an interesting take and a different look at how they're supposed to handle those things. I will say if someone blocks me, that's a pretty dead set statement that they don't like me. Right. And, if someone, was
if I put 3 years of work into a project and I found out that the leading video game website in the world, I think, is about to, CBS no less, CBS is about to review my game, and they've put a guy who has blocked me on Twitter onto my game, and he knows it's my game, I think I would want someone else covering it too. I think I would respectfully say, hey, please, reassign this project. But
yeah, there's I think Scott mentioned this. There are some gray areas to this.
Yeah.
That are. That's probably why no one's said something yet from GameSpot. Well, we'll keep our eyes peeled for sure until tomorrow. Once they do, I feel like they have to say something, but if not, then for sure it's going to generate every other news website, video game news website's going to start writing articles about GameStop. To kind of harken back to, it's slightly old news, but it's big enough to, I think, merit our discussion, is the release of the PS4 Neo details, which I've actually kind of periodically been looking at over the last few days, just about like what the heck it is.
What's in the package.
Yeah, and there's some, I think it's a big enough change to where it seems like a turning of the tides, or turning of the whole cycle process. I know a lot of
what sold you on it?
That's the thing. I'm not really I own an original PS4 or whatever to call it. See, it's such a weird story that I don't even know what to call my PS4 anymore. But
base PS4.
Yeah.
Yeah, the base.
The PS bore.
The 30 FPS station.
Yeah.
I guess what stands out to me is I own a PS4 and I have a copy of PT on the hard drive.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's any way to possibly get that transition over the Neo, because I know you, according to the details, you cannot take your existing hard drive and just put it in the new system. You kind of have to use the hard drive that's came with the system, or that's been properly calibrated to that system.
That whole situation is like made it to the point where I can't get rid of that PS4 in my living room.
Yeah, it's a collector's item, right?
I can't ever get rid of it now at this point.
Yeah, it's a monument. I don't know. It just made me, because it's all new. I'm trying not to sound like too like a elder, kind of
waving your stick.
Yeah, I don't want to have to say this is wrong because it's new, or it doesn't sound good because it's new. I'm trying to be open to that, but at the same time, how Sony has released the stuff and conducted the release of all this information has seemed kind of weird and just off-putting, and
it's confusing in the sense PS4 has been the leading selling game console for the past, I don't even know how many months in a row.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's they're trying to fix something that literally is not even broken.
I agree.
Now, if Xbox One, whenever they made, the insinuations that they might do an Xbox 1.5, that might make a little bit more sense, considering, the Xbox is inferior as far as running games to the PS4. What are they doing? Why would they try and release something that's not even halfway through this generation's life cycle?
It was Jim Sterling did a episode where I think he did the best analogy for this. They released that new 3DS with the nub, and while that's great and everything, and that's a nice addition, it's not enough for me to sell my old 3DS, or to just, put it on the shelf and spend another 200 whatever odd dollars on a DS with a nub. And the problem with that is that software developers, don't want to take the risk of developing something that requires the nub when there's a million people out there that don't have it. There really isn't a lot more to really get excited about other than 60 frames per second, which I guess I'm just not the kind of guy that cares about. I don't care about a girl's looks. I care more about her brains. And, at the end of the day, while it's nice that there's a more advanced, stronger system out there, I'm going to be happy with my PS4. I'm going to be happy with that. I'm trademarking that now, by the way. That's mine. I'm right here. I'm citing it.
It really does, because and see, the thing is that's really all the PS4 Neo is going to be doing. It's just a graphics upgrade, and it's going to have more processing cores. It's only aesthetically going to get better. It's not going to affect the gameplay at all, because they even said that there's nothing that the PS4 Neo can do that the PS4 base can't. But like you said, the fear that they will eventually integrate the development into the newer and quote-unquote better platform, such as the new 3DS or the PS4 Neo, that is scary and it's annoying, but...
Yeah, well, we'll definitely be talking about that in the following weeks, as I'm sure there'll be more news to come. I'm not sure if you guys heard about the next news story, or saw it. I think it popped up online last week, yesterday, I'm sorry. John Romero and Adrian Carmack, two of the OGs from ID, are back working on a new first-person shooter, and they're going to Kickstarter to help fund it, which I was surprised that guys that big in the industry have to go to Kickstarter. But then again...
It could be big money, man.
But yeah, it's kind of cool because I guess Romero hasn't done a first-person shooter or a new IP first-person shooter since... I can't recall. Yeah. I don't know. Are either of you guys Doom fans or Romero fans, or...
I was when I was, back in my heyday. At that time I wasn't a big fan of someone who kept up on the industry or whatever. I'm not in love with his work. I think Doom was a really good game at the time. I don't know. I don't really get anything out of him that suggests that I see that creative flair that really interests me. So I know for some people they're screaming blasphemy right now, but what's the Blackroom game about? Is it first-person shooter? Is it...
Not real. Well, the only specifics so far are that it seems like it'll have a single player that's story-based, but then it's going to have co-op, one-on-one deathmatch, and free-for-all arena modes. It'll be fully moddable on PC. And I think PC and Mac are the only confirmed platforms for a 2018 release. But I believe Romero's come out saying that he does expect it to come onto the consoles at some point as well. And they're looking for $700,000. So
for the full budget.
For the Kickstarter, I guess goal. I guess if they do well on Kickstarter, he's going to then go to investors.
I used to play Doom on my iPod because somebody jailbroke it for me. But I played a little bit of Doom, but I was never that big into it. I've been messing around with the Doom beta. It's all fun and whatnot, but it feels a lot like your typical, battle arena first-person shooter.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of the old Unreal games, but
yeah, I kind of
was didn't we move past this?
Yeah, that's That's exactly what went through my mind as I was playing it. I was like, this feels like so like 2005. I would play for maybe like 30 to 45 minutes each time, and I would get bored of it super fast.
Yeah, that's how I was with it. I would every time I picked up like a health pack, it reminded me of like, oh yeah, I don't have regenerating health, and like it just, I don't know.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. We have to. It's like we kind of have to get going somewhere soon, or else we're gonna. I don't know. It's kind of getting a little stale. You're right.
Yeah.
To the point where it's funny. I played Doom 2, and a lot of the negative feedback that was coming back, especially on Steam, was just that. It's funny. It's not that it's not fun. It's just that it's either. It's almost like it fits into the crowd too much.
Yeah. Like, say with your example with Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare. At the time, that was groundbreaking. That was like a big jump forward for the first-person shooter, especially in terms of multiplayer. But if you go back to it now, you'll actually miss a lot of the stuff they've added to the game since. And so if someone didn't get that experience then, will they still see the brilliance of Modern Warfare now?
Yeah, and it's a return of a personality, so
yeah,
we'll see what happens. It'll definitely have some kind of spirit behind it, for sure. Speaking of spirit, and backing up people, there was, I don't want to say a, but probably the, because it might be the only, YouTube, or YouPorn sponsored ESL team.
Woo!
Yeah. Hey, they're fans and they're sponsored by it too.
Yeah.
They were banned from competition recently, just based off the ESL has some kind of written law where pornography I don't know, I guess you can't have a team sponsored by anything having to do with the porn industry, which is funny that it seems like this team has been in existence for some time and they didn't get the memo. Trying to think if I have an official statement here.
They just
Yeah. Oh, here it is. Oh, here's a little one. Advertising pornography is not legal in the markets we operate in, and the vast majority of partners we're working with have strict no drugs, no alcohol, no pornography rules that we've contractually taken on board.
Now, when you say no drugs, does that include caffeine, or is everyone allowed to put Red Bull on their jackets?
That's the rhetorical question. No, I think I saw someone wrote an interesting. Well, I understand the law, but someone wrote on a comment on Eurogamer that got like the most hits. It said like, "That's funny. It's a bunch of guys who use porn are telling a team that they can't play because they're sponsored by the website they probably use all the time."
Yeah.
But
YouPorn is kind of like that website that everyone goes to, but no one admits to going to it. It's like McDonald's. Like, McDonald's is selling a ton of hamburgers. People are going in there, and I'm sure people are going to YouPorn. But I'm not, of course. Mm-hmm. I get why they probably have this rule. I mean, they're wanting to be family friendly. That it's like NASCAR. If you're watching NASCAR with your kids and they look at the screen and they go, "What's YouPorn?" Awkward situation where you have to actually talk to your kids.
Takes a little bit of magic out of it.
It's not really blatant, and I know the team even said like they won't even wear those shirts anymore, but they'll still be like silently sponsored, and the ESL still said like no.
I don't see the big problem as long as they don't make it a spectacle. As long as they don't like bring out like girls in bikinis, shaking pom-poms and, doing flips. That would be the NFL's job. I don't see a problem with it. I don't see why the ESL can't just, say, "Hey guys, this is what we would want you to project when it comes to this." But are they like absolutely banning them from, future, tournaments and things like that because of this?
Yeah, they're not really saying that they'll ban them from future ones. They are kind of like in discussions with them because it's like, I'm not sure why just now they're doing this.
Yeah. I mean,
it seems like now they're
coming up in the ranks or something?
Maybe. It seems like they're pretty well known enough, and I think that's probably why. Yeah. And if their main concern is like their partners, right?
Yeah.
Like, I wonder who they're partnering up with. That is so.
It's you, prude.
Yeah, maybe they're partners with Pornhub, so they don't like competition.
They don't like the competition. I think I just figured it out.
Yeah,
they're upset at the fact that they're basically. I mean, really, just think about this. I mean, how much more muscles are they getting in their hands from that? I mean, that is like steroids. Like that. Okay, I'm actually kind of getting ESL. You don't want. You want to keep your players clean.
Their wrists are probably pretty strong too.
I mean, they could probably palm a bowling ball at this point.
Since we have already gotten our cock joke out of the way, I think it's time, fellas, that we say our farewells. We've reached the end of the show.
Aww.
So let's move on to our last segment. So, is there anything you are looking forward to this coming week?
Let's see. What I've got coming up is I'm super excited about one task that I've got coming up. It's called Corpse Party, and it's kind of like a 16-bit RPG game. It seems a bit like a Gone Home type game, or not Gone Home, but Sweet Home, which I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but it's an NES game that is kind of a precursor to Resident Evil. Yeah, this game kind of reminded me of it. It's a bunch of like teenagers going around dealing with like a haunted murder, kind of mystery house.
How about you, Kurt? Anything you're looking forward to in the coming week?
Axiom Verge was just released on Vita. I've never played all the way through it, so I will definitely be getting that and playing through it. For those who don't know, it was a PS4 exclusive indie game that was made by one man, and it's kind of like Metroidvania. Other than that, I bought Wolfenstein, the New Order, on a flash sale, and I have literally never tried to play it yet. So I am definitely going to be diving into that this week as well.
Cool. For me, Rocket League, more hoops, get some more hoops in my blood.
Gotcha.
Yeah, every night. It's it's the perfect nightcap, I think. Maybe I'll play 30 minutes of The Division. Maybe I might not. I'm trying to level up. So I bought it initially so I can play with friends, and we've yet to be able to find a time to play because our schedules are just different. And so they're not too much higher than I am, so I'm trying to level up, but I don't know, it just feels like, I bought this game, and so far I've just been playing it in a manner which I didn't really intentionally. Yeah. So it's like, so hopefully I'll get my money's worth soon, but we're at the end of the show, so until next time, guys, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Hey!
It's great.
Yeah, it was great having you, man.
Yeah, welcome aboard. We look forward to, future podcasts with you, man. Yeah, so until next time, guys, this is your host, Jordan Lopez. Again, I was graced with the presence of Kurt Reisinger and Trevor Anderson today. This has been the Mouse and Joycast. Until next time, guys.
See ya.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.